Driving Uber to pay the mortgage. Let's have a look. Hello everyone, Florian here, and welcome to another episode of Heiser Says. Grab your stein of coffee. Let's have a look at this article from the ABC. And I think it's kind of good news. So, a record number of Australians are working multiple jobs to keep their heads above water. Yeah, well, you got to do what you got to do sometimes. That's just how it is. I told you that Australians aren't as stupid as the media likes to portray us, that many of them will do what is necessary to get by. And, we're not living in the boomer world of 30, 40 years ago, guys. You need to have multiple people working, and sometimes that means multiple jobs or opportunities. You got to do what you got to do. Am I the only one that sees this as people taking advantage of the situation put in front of them? One example they give here is working Uber. I've done it for a period. Sure, it's great for cash flow, if you want cash flow to come in, and it's relaxing. Driving around, listening to Jordan Peterson podcasts was great. So you get extra tips too when people realize what you're listening to. And some of them look at you like you're nuts. So a record number of Australians are working multiple jobs as employees try to keep up with a surge in the cost of living. So nearly 950,000 Australians workers do more than one job, which is a record. Analysts say strong labour demand means people can get more work, while a surge in cost of living means they need more income. Workers who do multiple jobs earn less on average than those who only work for one employer. The Australian Bureau of Statistics estimates 947,300 Australians worked multiple jobs in March in data released yesterday. Sahurya Khan from Melbourne's outer northern suburbs is one of them. The project engineer is the sole income earner for his family of 5 and has taken on a second job as a rideshare driver to help him meet his rising mortgage repayments and living costs. I have to do this other part-time work like Uber to make up for the extra money that I need, he told the ABC. There you go. I mean, it's not the end of the world. You can do it when you don't want to do your engineering work, after hours, at night time. When the kids are in bed, the wife wants to be left alone, you can jump in the car and drive for a couple of hours. Boom, do that a few times a month. Okay, there's your mortgage payment half gone. Is it as easy as previous generations have had? No, but this is part of life. Okay, come on. I know, but this is the ABC, so they're going to make it out as the worst bloody thing in the world. My concern is that these opportunities are destroyed. The ABC estimated that just over 13 million working Australians hold just one job, meaning that 6.6% of workers are like Mr. Khan and hold down multiple positions. Before COVID, the proportion of workers doing multiple jobs was fairly steady between 5 to 6%, but has remained above that level since December 2021. Yeah, we're entering into tougher economic times. Everything's gotten so expensive now. $100 dropping it at the petrol station can barely fill your tank. Indeed's Asia-Pacific economist Callum Pickering said many Australians, like Mr. Khan, have been financially pressured to take on extra work. The growth in multiple jobs makes sense for 2 reasons, he observed. First, there are lots of jobs available and therefore an opportunity to take on additional work if you want more hours. Second, cost of living pressures have created the need for some people to take on additional work to keep their heads above water. So employees face the biggest cost of living squeeze. Separate data also released by the ABS on Wednesday showed that living costs surged in the June quarter, especially for working households. All household types saw rises in living costs equal to or higher than the CPI, noted the ABS's head of price statistics, Michelle McQuad. Over the year to June, employee households saw a 9.6% jump in living costs versus 6.3% for self-funded retirees, 6.7% for aged pensioners, 7% for other pensioners, and 7.3% for other welfare recipients. The rise in annual living costs for employee households is the largest increase since this series started in 1999. The last time CPI recorded an annual increase of 9.6% was in 1986, she added. While most households were affected by the sharp rising cost of insurance, meals out and takeaway, fruit and vegetables, energy prices, employee households were particularly hard hit by surging mortgage costs, which jumped 91.6% over the year to June on rising rates. Yeah, but That's coming off a cash rate of 0.1%. You can't claim, oh no, mortgages have gone up so much. We knew this was coming. No one thought 0.1% was going to be there forever. Sure, the media played up no increases until 2024, but come on. Seriously. Mr. Khan's mortgage reflects those figures. I started somewhere around $1,600 in repayments. Now it's gone up to somewhere close to $3,000, he said. That's almost unmanageable with one job. With the current job, I can't sustain this with one salary. After also all the living expenses has gone up as well. What about the taxes you pay? What about the big chunks of taxes he's paying that's being siphoned out of his money? Maybe we need to stop paying all these taxes or reduce it and let people write off this interest cost for his primary residence, Let people build for themselves before they build for the state. But then again, am I just going paranoid where we don't want people as homeowners anymore? The Center for Future Works, Greg Jericho, said the figures are not surprising considering that mortgage interest costs have roughly doubled since the RBA started raising rates in May last year. Yeah, but you've got to know this was bullshit. This $1,600 a month was a joke. That rate was insanely low. Do people realize that those rates we're never going to see them again? Even if rates go down, okay, even if they bring rates down, what do you think is going to happen? It may go down 25, 50 points, if that. It's not going to go down to 0.1 again. Unless something goes horribly wrong, you'll never see those numbers again in your life. We'll probably be sitting at 3.25%. That may be where it sits for a while if it goes down, but it won't go down. You won't be back at this again. Okay, this was fantasy. This was kind of bullshit rates, and you should know that. We all knew it. So long as wages continue to rise less than inflation, we should expect the number of multiple job holders to continue to rise. Callum Pickering agrees. It's likely that even more Australians will pick up extra jobs to make ends meet. We'd expect this upward trend to continue in the near term as households grapple with the impact of high inflation and higher mortgage rates, he forecast. People will continue to seek more hours, either in an existing job or via additional job to deal with higher costs and rising obligations. So extra jobs reduces the recession risks. Mr. Pickering said the ability for many people to easily pick up more work to meet their rising costs has helped insulate households from the economy from more severe financial stress. Yeah, Uber has kept people in homes. Uber has gotten people off welfare. It's probably done more for people than a myriad of government programs and initiatives. It's probably created more employment opportunities than all of these courses and things that the state funds, in the employment services that everyone bitches about. Job advertisements have fallen steadily this year, but there are still almost twice as many vacancies as was common before the pandemic, he observed. If job creation was to deteriorate significantly, perhaps below pre-pandemic levels, then it would increase the probability of a recession or downturn. It had become much more difficult for those struggling with cost of living pressures. Mr. Pickering does not currently expect that to happen. We expect that job advertisements will continue to ease over the remainder of the year, he forecasts. However, more importantly, they're expected to remain high by historical standards. Yeah, we're not going to see a huge collapse, everyone. Even if we just go down to pre-COVID levels, we're not even there. They're not. Yeah, there's still going to be opportunities. The biggest risk is coming from political intervention. Opportunities and the ability for people to use Uber to top up their income when they need to, they could vanish if they change the rules. There should still be plenty of opportunities for people to take on an additional job if they need to. Like as an engineer, he could easily drive some Ubering after hours, but working in a petrol station, not so easy. So work longer, get paid less. With rising mortgage and other living costs maybe driving the spike in people working more than one job, Greg Jericho said there are broader structural issues in the economy that force many workers to search for additional employment. The industry with the largest number of multiple job holders is always the care sector, he observed. This highlights why the government's national strategy for the care and support economy is so important to deliver well-paying, secure jobs that enable care workers to earn a living wage rather than being forced to take on extra work just to make ends meet. Yes, but what if someone only needs a care worker for a short period of time, only access 1 day a week, or these type of things? There's flexibility there. It's not as simple. Aside from healthcare and social assistance, where around 155,000 people, or 7.7% of the workforce in that sector, do multiple jobs, agriculture, forestry, fishing, administration and support services, arts and recreation, accommodation and food services, education and training had the highest rate of multiple jobs, all above 7%. Those employed by utilities, finance, insurance firm, wholesalers, manufacturers and logistic firms were the least likely to hold multiple jobs at less than 5%. On average, multiple job holders work longer hours than those with only one position. Yeah, that's the point. Okay, that's the point. You want to have multiple jobs to work more hours. The average multiple job holder worked 30.9 hours a week in their main job and just 9.6 hours in their secondary job, for a total of 40.5 hours above a standard working week. Isn't 40 hours a normal week? 40 hours is a standard week, isn't it? Or am I out of date again? I'm calculating everything at 40 hours a week. Single job holders work 35.5 hours per week on average. Well, we like the French now? 35-hour week? What the hell's this? But Greg Jericho said that was not reflected in their income. The figures showed that multiple job holders worked around 11% more hours than single job holders, and yet they earn 14% less per year. Yeah, because you're probably getting people in crappier fields with less earning potential. Uber's crap for making coin. It's great for cash flow. You're going to depreciate your car away and rack up kilometers on it. But if you don't care about that, if you're just going to drive it to death anyway for the next 15 years, does it matter? If you're not going to replace it every other year. But if you need cash, if you need, for 6 months, you need the money coming in to take the edge off that mortgage, what are you going to do? Oh, we'll sell the house and have a whole lot of disruption. No, you just drive for a few months and get through it. I mean, come on. Well, what do these people expect? That if times get tough, people won't adjust their lifestyles and step up to make ends meet? I mean, come on. This feels normal to me. Well, while it's good that people in need of more hours are able to get them, the increase in multiple job holders is a sign that more people are working in jobs that by themselves are not enough to make ends meet. Men with multiple jobs work the longest hours, on average 45.3. Yep, that's not surprising. While women with multiple jobs worked an average of 36.4 a week in paid employment. Yeah, these are normal things. Okay, there's nothing unusual about that. Mr. Khan said he works full-time at his primary job and then generally does about 20 to 25 hours as a rideshare driver, making a total of 60 to 65 hours a week every week. It's very bad. It's a very bad effect on my health, he says. I keep working all the week and then working in the nights and sometimes on the weekend. I don't get that much rest. And obviously the family life as well, because I'm driving during the daytime and then nighttime. When I come back, it's just an hour, have dinner, go to bed. Then I don't get much time with the kids over the weekend. Yeah, it sucks. It sucks. I wouldn't be doing it forever. I wouldn't recommend you do it forever. I would recommend you try and find a way to get out of this. If you're an engineer, maybe try and do some extra work on the side. Women were far more likely to hold multiple jobs, 7.7%, than men, 5.7%. Those aged 20 to 24, yeah, I know, yeah. Only 5.5% of the older generation. So, well, let's have a bit of a chat about this one, guys. So, I don't know. This isn't the perfect solution. We want to all live in a world where you could easily afford a house and a mortgage on one income. But you can't, okay? Because most households now have two incomes. Normally it's the husband and wife working. We're in a community, with the homeschooling community, where a lot of people are single income households and they make lifestyle decisions and sacrifices for that. That's sadly what you have to do. But sometimes you just have to work extra hours. You want to keep your house, you want to pay the mortgage, you've got to make some sacrifices. It's not the best thing, but sometimes it's necessary. For this guy pulling in 65 hours a week, I'd be looking at, if you're a project engineer, He should be earning more coin than that. Or maybe his mortgage is too... Well, $3,000 a month ain't that bad. Something must be wrong there. Depends on what engineering field he is. He needs to get a better job. Honestly, I'd be shopping around. But then again, Ubering can be relaxing. Although I kind of got sick of it after a while. The best clients were the drunk blokes. I found they were all really chilled and relaxed, happy. It was the drunk women that were the ones that I was worried about the most. Anyway, guys, let me know your thoughts and opinions on this one. Do you think it is a terrible thing that people have to do 2 jobs to make ends meet, or is it just what you have to do sometimes to get ahead? Let me know. As always, check out HiserBIM or HiserDoes, and if you're a fan and want to support us, you can on YouTube or Patreon. Use the referral links, buy the pocket squares, or call me if you need an architect. See you next time.